Good morning. How's it going, everybody? おはようございます、皆さん。今日も頑張ります。おはようとこんばんはでしょ。はい。Let's go. You know this song, I love this song. この曲大好き。200よ。多すぎる。200, dude. One day they'll shorten. One day. Jeez. No matter how many I do, they keep coming back. Okay, let's open up the pages. See what we need. 準備がいいか。はい。Everything's ready. Good to go. Let's go. Some flashcards for today. はい、行きましょう。Transport. I remember this one because we failed it yesterday. There we go. See? You cannot see very well. But it's there. That's mix, right? Curtain. I remember this one too. This one's cool because the main radical, it's basically a cemetery. Right, this basically for cemetery. So when you put this towel or cloth, I just like to think of it like, oh, it's curtains for you, as in you're dead. There you go, curtain. Ain't that cool? Treetops. Yes, I remember this one now. There we go. See, all the ones. This is fishing. On to fishing. All the ones that we failed yesterday. We already got good in it. Technique. Pour. No. This is pillar. Antiquity. Make a deal. All right. Okay. Guest. お客さんでしょ。客。ちょっと待って。客。はい。お客さんがいれば。お客さん。はい。これは、Oh, royal audience or something like that. No, horse. Oh, right. Yeah. Horse. Because suitable. There we go. Levy. Yeah. Burglar. Remember? I butchered the order, but it was correct. I think it was like a sash. Got it right, just very scuffed because there was no self-confidence in that audience with a superior. That's the thing I was thinking of earlier. Yeah, see, that's the thing I was thinking of earlier. Because it had the mouth one instead of the talk one. That was horse. This was like a comparison with a brother or something to trying to compete. Present time. I got that. Yep. To say you. Simple. Each to each their. Yep. How the weather. Man, I know this has to do with. Smoke or the cloud for rain and all that, but I cannot remember exactly how. Cause yeah, so you gotta remember you know how when you watch the weather news, there's this cloud and the sun. Up. Well, you have the sun, right, corresponding to this. And then you have the cloud. And that's it. Honestly, it's just the clouded part is a bit more complicated than I like it. I didn't mean to put it correct. Lunatic is this one. Yep. What was it? Cloudy weather. So today to 0. I'm gonna assume everything's going okay with the stream, by the way. Good. Just not a lot of activity early in the morning. Simply because hopefully audio and everything is okay. Seems a bit louder than I'd like to. It should be fine. It's also a banger of a song. Lunatic. I just did Lunatic. Todo está bien. Thank you. Gracias. Arigato. Good luck. Oh, right. I was like good fortune. Yep. Tranquilize. Yep. Coin. Oh. Yeah, I like this one. So this one is literally gold, and this part I associate with kind of like floating in a way, or like elevating. So I just need to think of bottle network and the floating GMDs. And it's like money that's floating, that's sunny. I'm pretty sure it should be sunny. Forget, what's that coin? Yeah, this. Say sunny. It's not sunny. Sunny. It says sunny. Here's it. Sunny. Sunny. See? So the moment I read this, I was like, oh, this is just sunny. Okay. Much like in Ball Network. Rakmagnego seto onaji. Sunny. Sure. Hi. capital Kyo. Evidence what says that you are correct. And that should be, I believe it's Shoko. Shoko. Evidence. Shoko. Shoko じゃない。Shoko. はい。Akashi Shoko. はい。Okay, cool. Sadameru, to determine tune words circular. Wow, I kind of forgot. Yeah, so it's okay. I knew it felt wrong. I'm gonna mark it as correct simply because that radical is what I messed up, and that radical shows up really often, and I shouldn't have a problem with that. This was like a cemetery, a graveyard, same thing. I'm not gonna mark it as wrong simply because I called a graveyard a cemetery. There's no way, fuck you. It's the same thing. Spoon is, it's only that part. Okay, yeah, again. See, the thing is, the last thing I saw, right, before quitting was all of these kanji, and except kita for north and minna, I kind of forgot all of these, most of them, honestly. I mean, mix I finally started to remember, the sentence too. Oh, compete with by, yeah, we saw it earlier. I'm not gonna look at it, but I know it's like this. And it's easy to remember because it's 2 standings and 2 like big brothers. Being a big brother myself, having a lot of siblings and competing and a lot of stuff, 2 brothers standing next to each other. It's a given. Pretty easy. Tiki, enemy. Yep. Dark brown. Right, that one looks kind of scuffed. The camera is not the best. There sort of when it's cloudy as hell. 今日は日が見えない。できない。Yeah, it's way too cloudy. Jeez, I just realized. Momo, peach. Yeah. That's like target. Bullseye. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Whatever. Kita north. Guy. World. In fact, if you look up Sekai. Sekai. There we go. Sekai. World. Yay. Flashcards, where are you? Saki. Ahead. Well, before. Yeah. Stretch, I believe it was. No, what was it? Prolong. Should I said the stretch instead of prolong, but I knew it was not to stretch something physically, but to, should I mark it as wrong? Screw it, whatever. Wakai, young. Curtain, porch. Yeah, we saw this one yesterday. You heat up goods until they have this really rough texture. It's like a tree because they're so dry. I completely forgot This was thirst. Yeah, I was about to say thirsty or thirst. So I'll mark it as correct. Oh, this is to make a deal, yeah. Because it's still, yeah. Well, yeah. Yep. Taylor. I remember this. Okay, so it looks very, very scuffed and very tiny and really bad, but trust me on that one. I got it correct. Repeatedly. Man, Shovel Knight is a great game. I should get it again. Because it's only on 3DS. So if I want to speedrun it or play it on stream, I should get it on Steam. Repeatedly, yeah, I completely forgot. Oh, right, the walking over the head. Or was this horse? No, like it was a very rough boy's horse. Yes. Rebuke. Yeah. Looks very scuffed, but it is that first time. Yeah. Oh, stagnate, yeah. Jeez, like how are you gonna think of that word first thing? Okay, this one I did completely forget. Badge! Oh, right. Oh, this is a flavor. Swift. Like that. I messed up the order, but it is in fact like that. How did you find me on Steam? I'll find you later. This was just Nino Hari. I remember a hunters and ex-hunters, Hari Mingen. You know, because of Kilua's brothers. Nonsense. Oh, did I finally change it to WCXE? Because I used to be something like either Hunter James or something like Kirito or something. I don't remember. But I guess I did change it at some point finally to WCXE to keep things consistent. Present. Morning, Asa. Hi. Asa だよね。Ane, big sister, yep, older sister, 4. Neko. Hi. Mediocre. Oh, yeah. The Japanese Judas tree. This was just interesting to remember it all. So I don't think I'll be using it anytime soon. But Ura, as in Ura Internet for the internet in Batman EXE, but I completely forget. Alright. Is the music too low now? I think it was fine, but I decided to turn it down a little bit. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. I can never get that. Oh, this is Bila. Like Jack, oh, hayo! Ohayo gozaimasu. いや、こんばんは。日本は夜ですよね。はい。Bila. I actually just think of Villa in Spanish, even though it means a completely different thing. Because it's flower, and when I like to think of the turtle samurai, don't worry about it. Oh yeah, this was like good fortune and something, right? Yeah, a little way around it. おはようございます。こっちは夜です。はい。と。だから、こんばんは。Ooh, guidance. Yeah. Interesting. Cloudy weather. Yep. This was. What's it that? Proclaim. Oh, right. Damn. Okay. It's been a while. Craft. Fit or fit. Yeah. Oh, the show. Yeah. それはない。こっち。はい。Yeah, so it's usually used as in to meet, is what I see. But also to fit, I suppose. Distant, 遠い。なんだっけ。A little bit scuffed, but it is in fact there. Read. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, this is either pavilion or fancy. Yeah, pavilion. So this is thanks to Vowel Network 6, because I think of something like tall or fancy, and then I think of the king, because this is usually for crown, of needles, and I like to think of like Falsar and Gregor for each one of these, and then I think of pavilion comps. I don't know exactly how I made that correlation back in the day, but I did. Oh, this is plantation. Koeru, right? To surpass. No, Black Clover no serifu. Genkai o koeru. Alright. Yeah. Ame. No, ame. Beginning, okay. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah. Oh. これはなんだっけ忘れた Lock. Oh, right, yeah. Spoon and demolition. Go as. それでしょ。Go as. はい。はい。Cool. Hey, Gairon. This was Grove, yeah. Proclaim, yes, I remember now. Do I remember the... No, I don't. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, sure. Okay, that's I did not expect that. Why was that? Oh jeez. Okay. Pathetic. There we go. Yeah, I don't think that's very useful. This was like samurai and gentleman or something. Yep. Okay. She, warrior. Yeah, many things. Prolong. Yeah. Leave. So. Good. I kind of really like this one actually. I don't know why. Juvenile. Proceed. Overgrown. Okay. So, very scuffed, but it is in fact there. Wow. Create. Yeah. And desk. No, that's not desk. It's shelf. First time. Hatsu. Right. Oh, this is shallow. Word. Oh, okay. Bam, easy. Ariku, to walk. Oh, perfect. Literally perfect. Gun. Right? No. Well done. Yeah, gun. So forth. Gun key. Yep. Yeah. Cool. Oh, batch thing. Emperor. Oh, this song slaps. What? Wow. Kyoku ski. I forgot. Oh, the thing. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. No. It's a good idea. Oh, build. Display repeatedly. Oh yeah. Okay. This was what? Oh, review, revise. Yeah. This was what was it? I know it's koi fish. A carp. Okay, I just forgot the English name. What was it? Nice. Cool. This was like the audience with the superior thing. How many we have left? 107. Yakuni. Nana. Yeah, I don't know the superior. Takai. So, yep. Bunch. Little thing. Grammar school. Chiku. Like that. Oh, you cannot see very well, but just meant that one. Objection! Yeti! Nice. Yo, what? I completely forgot this. Yeah, me. Hidari. はい、右と左。右と左。はい。右、左。いいね。proclaim, yeah. Winter, 冬。寒いね。冬。はい、冬。まあ、冬大好きだけど。Can I remember this like once? I'm pretty sure I can. I did. ほら。裏インターネットでしょ。あと、ごめんなさい。Good morning, Phantom. おはようございます。How's it going? The internet is gonna go away. Is there a storm? Is there a tornado down there? Sometimes I'm not. I'm disconnected with whatever things you have to go through down in the US. No, plant maintenance. Damn unfortunate. Oh, we have less than 100. Okay, we can move on to the next one. Okay. Well, hello, Phantom. Well, it's fine. It's gonna take us still a while to get to the grammar part, which is the interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can always see the archive if you are, in fact, following. Hey. For the whole world. Hatsu. Mata. Chi. Okay, I got it right, but let me double check the order. Oh, so it's first the thing, and then you do this on it. Hana. Nice. 忘れた。Let's just. Let's just practice it for a little bit. Even though it's so common. Still mess it up. It's very scuffed. Where? Should do date. Yeah, I messed it up. Thank you. Everyone, minna. Minasan. Ongaku. 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 Why am I stopping on the end? That's ongaku. Ongaku. What do we? Mimi. Mimi. Hey. Oh, sama. No, actually, the way I remember this, have you guys seen Princess Mononoke? Mononoke Hime. No. Because the way I remember that is, I think of the... So on the left you have ki for tree, so I think of the big old tree, right? On the right you have the sheep, basically, and water. So I think of that big old island of water, the tree, and the big old... It's more like a deer god or something, but the moment I see the two horns, the rest of the kanji just completes itself. If you have not seen Mononoke Hime, it's a very good film. Princess Mononoke. It's very entertaining. Big fan. Important Bollywood cherries. Taisitsu. Taisitsu. So this is it. Think. Kangaeru. But I forgot. 忘れたけど。なんだっけ。Oh, yeah. Oh, more. Fine. Oh, more. Yeah, I know. Oh, more. Muteki. Hey. Eventually, thanks to anime and stuff like that, or games, you're gonna probably hear this a lot. Muteki. It's invincible. There's no way we can beat him, right? My for Umi. See, original work, original creation, original whatever. So it's very scuffed. Gensaki. Very very scuffed. Let me do the second part again. Okay. Gensaki. Hi. Omoi. This is very hard thing to describe, but it's almost like the other day I saw an anime translate or localize this as care. Like, it's still the same thing of thought in a way of like omoi, but with this kanji it has like that different connotation of like, it's more like you're thinking of that person in terms of like a care in a way. It's weird. It's weird. It's hard to explain, and I'm not sure I fully get it myself. Study 勉強それは 今のは忘れた。あ、力。はい。That makes sense. 勉強。And I write it every day. 毎日これを見る。でも忘れた。なんではい。勉強します。Let's study. Interesting enough. I almost got it too. That should be fine. I should have it for next time. Unreasonable. 無理。There's no more space. We need a new one. ちょっと待って。新しいページかな。はい。So let's put this with a collection of other let's get the other page here. Are there still some pages from the printer, by the way, Seth? Yay. Hope you don't mind. I'm pretty sure you don't, but I might as well say it anyway. And I'm pretty sure the memo you left me allows me to take it anyway. So good as money. Kanji 勉強すぎたけど普通な日本語勉強しなかっただから今私の日本語良くない全く漢字勉強はめちゃくちゃ楽しいそうと思う面白いから、Like I just know I practice a lot of kanji and not enough normal Japanese. But the thing is, kanji is fun and interesting, and I really like it. There's also a bunch of paper in your bottom drawer. Okay, cool, thanks. 無理覚えますけど、はい。Because it's this is for mu or nai for no basically, and this is for logic. So when there's no logic behind it, there's just 無理。Unreasonable. 天気。今日の天気なんか悪い。それもいい。好きだから。To set free. Oh, 逃がす。はい。It looks so bad. Hold on. It's bam, 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 bam. Yes. Oh, the world. 正解。 雪。雪大好き。めっちゃめっちゃ大好き。At least for now, Yuki. I'll eventually get tired of snow. I'll eventually get tired of snow. For now, I want you get that. Get that. Doki doki. From sometimes, occasionally, from time to time. Red. Okay. なんだっけ。はい、覚えた。多分。これか。ダメ。はい。確かに。Well, I tried to remember here is which one is the transitive and which one is the intransitive. Pretty sure taskeru is to save, taskeru is to be saved. Yep. Nice. Niji. The other way around. No. So the soちょっと待ってね。美しいな。I believe it was 美しい。美しい。はい。美しい。美しい。Okay. 写真。photograph。偉い。Yeah, okay, let me redo it because I do remember it. Oh, it looks very scuffed. Hold on. I think I got it right, but I'm not sure. Did I? Yeah, no, I didn't. I messed up the radicals. Okay, now it flows much better. Okay, now it makes sense. Yep. また思うかな。はい。考えるの。ああ、なるほど、なるほど。あ、いや、ちょっと、もう、 So it's this top, and then we close. Yep, that does make a lot of sense. Okay. Senryaku. Senryaku de. Woo. Saikyo. Yep. Mono. Just thing, really. So, Kanashi. To take along, right? To bring along, yeah. Kanji. Confession. Kukuhaku. It's very common in anime and stuff, especially if you watch rom-coms, which I do. Buki, weapon. She's in natural. Yeah. Stop. No. Maru. Desho? Hai. Tomaru. Tomaru. Tomaru janai. Tomaru. Power, strength. Chikara. A scuffed one, but it's there. Study. Thank you. Hey, we got it. Thank you. Hana. Nose. Takun. This is like special training and all that. It's you probably it's easy to hear like anime and stuff, especially like shonen. Shonen anime これを、よく聞いた。聞いた。はい。そうです。どこ？始まる。To begin. Start. はい。運命。いいな。理由。Reason. 楽しい。日本語の勉強楽しい。Hey, good morning, Arthur. How's it going? Welcome. Okay, to wake up. To just get up. Yep. Awkward. Angry. 恥ずかしい。恥ずかしい。Embarrassing, really. It's like my Japanese. This is one is pretty funny because it's like ears on heart, right? So I don't know why with that I kind of I associate heart with like red, and I think the space between the ears completely red. Right? Wow, that's an awful face. But basically, like, one is really red because of embarrassment. I wanted to explain that with like a guy, a cow, or something, but I can't. What the sound? 勉強。偉い。笑顔。Smile. This is pretty nice. 笑顔。voice. 声。はい。I'll do it again real quick. Man, every time I write koi, I can't help but think of koi no katachi. A little part of inside of me just kind of gets sad. Koi no katachi. Sonae ga daisuki. First time. Let's see. Dachi. Yep. Chikan. Time. Well, like is hour. It's a sort of counter, an interval of hours, really. If you just wanted to say the time, you'd only say G, but Chikan. It's like saying the amount of hours in a way. Got it. Okay, this shot. Hi. That. Red. Okay, this time I will mess it up. Okay. Hi. There we go. Okay. Kokuhaku. Confessions. Test drop. Get up. I completely. Yep. So did that. Tsurugi again. There we go. That is it. Properly written. Okay, so today we're going a little bit faster. But that's fine. Wait, rainbow again. Niji. It's not a very good looking rainbow. Let's do it again. Niji. Hontoni. And then truly, really, hontoni. Oh yeah, it's an adverb, because I'm guessing honto is like to, really, and when you add the ni, it's the adverb, much like we learned yesterday about adverbs, remember? What's it? Yeah, right? Yeah, because it's when it's an adjective, that is, when it's an adjective, you add the ni, shizuka ni, honto ni, and all that, right? And when it is an e adjective, you throw with the e and puraku, so hayai, hayaku. Okay, cool. To forget this. Nice. Future distant mirai. This one is very nice. But it's not yet. And what's to come? Mirai. Is this again? Mirai. Yeah, it is. Right. Tsureru. Hi. tsuredasu. Hunter x Hunter のテーマ。I remember I put both because I had the entire thing, the entire song on a TXT. Hi. Close enough. Close enough. Stomach, belly, neck up. Wow. I forgot, even though it's like fairly common. Oh, okay. I remember it somehow. Hi. What the? Moody. Okay. So quick to recite. Yameru. Akirameru. Nandakke. I always mix up the both. Yameru and akirameru. Yeah, I remember. I don't even know which one that is. That's not what we're doing. Akirameru. Okay, no, that's to give up at abandon, and to just quit is yameru. Guts. Win. Hey. Skillful. Oh my. I've messed up the order yet again. And I was hand up. But I messed up the order. Teto ue. I believe if it doesn't have the E, it's jozu, right? Hi, jozu. So I'm guessing umai is just more like colloquial in a way, right? And not as formal, if I had to guess. Jozu to umai. Gata. Atsui. In summer, you get to see that a lot around the internet. Is the music too loud? It seems. that should be fine. 夏でこれ漢字をよく見ます。Twitter でand probably butchered that in an awful Japanese, but you know, wanted to try saying it. Jeez. Let's keep going for a little longer. Smile. Here you go. There you go. So reading it is easy, writing it not so much. Never mind, it's easy peasy. Tsurugi, gen. Atsui. Matta? Huh? Nande? Kuru. Come. Shitagi. Underwear. Weather. Thank you. Okay. To land. Yes. Oh. What was this? It's something like... I really forgot. Yeah, but I completely forgot. 完全に忘れた。Okay, no, let's practice it. 練習しましょう。Yes. Yes. Oh, you know, I mean, I think I may have a good way to remember this. Let's see.ちょっと待ってね。The heater was still on, which is nice and all, but like the temperature is already good, and we're just gonna get a loud fan for no reason. So I'd rather just turn it off. Honestly. Besides, I have my poncho. Hey, man, I love this thing so much. Okay. Man, for a moment there, I thought this was the Dimension W opening. Okay, yes. To Len. Test trial. We'll see later on today actually. The mess is the verb, and the mesh is the stem, and it just makes it a noun magically, and I love it. Version Hazukashi. has got she high time our chicken high nice sing go oh, hi. Nice. There we go. Without Ina. Chikara. Power strength. Chikai. New close. What was that? Oh, huh. Like that. Chikai. No. The chai. Yeah, let's put it again, I guess. Isogashi. Isogashi. Umi. Oh, was it really? I guess it is in fact separate. Okay. So the thing about umi is that, well, you have the water, the radicals, right? The splashes, really. That's easy. Then you have the thing on top. It's just a thing. We're just gonna call it a thing for now. And then we have the radical for mother. Haha, right? Which is this is haha. The thing is, many times as a radical, when you draw it, right, like this, then because it looks smaller, because you're using it as a radical instead of the two little dots, right? You do a line instead. That's why I kind of forgot which one it was here. I mean, it's probably understandable anyway, but it's good to know that. But yeah, I'll mark it as correct, even though I technically messed it up a little bit. Haru. I like spring. It doesn't look very good, but it is in fact Haru. To give up. This is in fact Akirame. But how do you write it? Something like that. Cat Jam, yo, Tara, good morning. How's it going? It's kind of messy. I know I shouldn't mark it as hard, but I'll mark it as hard because I want to see it again soon. これはやめる。諦めね。 quit, to resign, to use, ska. Something like that. I forget. Close enough, but not close, but no cigar. I'll put it again, sure. It's such a common kanji that, whatever. It's probably good if I should know it. Jitsu, like reality, or the truth, or the, Oh, this is my flashcard for senpai. I'm so funny, right? Senpai. Skillful. Umai. Jealousy. If you don't have the e here, it's jiazu. If you have the e, it's umai. I think honestly that's enough for the flashcards. We've studied 200 flashcards in 1 hour. 今日の漢字の練習ここまでどこもWas programming in Japanese? Don't Japanese have to learn English and stuff, like very basic English to be able to program? Because there's no such thing, right? That's my understanding of the situation. Yeah, actually, I don't know. Interesting. Oh, by the way, whenever there's programming, I'll probably announce it on Discord and stuff. So there must be compilers to help that. Yeah, there probably are. Okay. Let's do grammar. Yay. Cool. So keep this around just in case. Yeah, about keywords and syntax, yes. Comments on even maybe variables, right? Objects names even could be in Japanese, but I believe the rest of like the keywords and stuff they're in English. Because there's this anime, Kobayashi Dragon Maid. So yeah, Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Kobayashi no Maid the Dragon, I believe. Basically, when there's this scenario where there's this new dragon that joins the office where the main character is a programmer at. This dragon has to actually learn the English and stuff, because she cannot use Japanese, more importantly, I think she had to learn how to use like a keyboard, but without the kana. I believe something along those lines. And then she was so good and so skillful that she landed in like in the day, and the main character was super surprised. Yeah. Fun little thing. See, anime teaches things. Okay, let's learn Keigo. One proper grammar and to be polite. Shall we? Okay, so last time, let's do a quick review of what we saw yesterday, real quick. What did we start with yesterday? What was it? Oh, we started yesterday with these transitive and intransitive verbs, I believe. No, we started with the particles, I remember. Okay. So we learn O for like direct object. Basically, it's very simple. Just the noun that has this particle attached is just gonna be the receiving of the verb in a way, right? It's basically the direct object, basically. Ni, well, the noun is gonna be the target, right? In a way. And I like to think of it as an English to, so it's gonna do something to it, right? Directional A, it's just a very generic and headed towards a place in terms of direction, but not necessarily going specifically to the direction. It's usually mostly used for like direct movement verbs, basically. And also, whenever you start a letter or maybe an email, I don't know, at least letters, you put the name towards who is going to, and then the e, like gas and e, like to mom or something. I don't know, right? As it's intended for them. Contextual the particles was mostly for like to indicate the context something happens in, and the keywords Tarakim gives us to remember and to more or less have a clear idea of everything is like by way of, which is a good way to think of it, honestly. Also, if you ever see nani and de, it's not nani de, it's nande most of the time, as in why, not by way of what, right? Also, you can use ni, e, and de with wa and mo together. Ni mo, ni wa, right? De mo. No, de mo is another thing. De wa. When you're trying to, when the thing you're talking about is both the topic and the receiving agent of the verb in a way, right? That's such a weird way to phrase it. Instead of just saying it's the target, but whatever. Transitive verbs. Basically, you'll have the same kanji with the same meaning, right? But you can change the reading a little bit, and it will change if what the action is, how the action is happening. For example, atos is that you're dropping it, right? Like you're actually dropping it, right? But if it just kind of fell because I left it there and it eventually rolls by itself, right? It just kind of fell on itself. There was no direct involvement. So when there's no direct involvement from anyone, it's intransitive verbs. And when there's for this intransitive verbs, you cannot use the particle o because there's no direct thing you're doing to the object. So it would be ga or wa, right? So it's important to notice that. Also, because the kanji can be read differently, like in das or deru. Here's being read as da, here's being read as de. So it also changes the conjugation. Important to notice. Then relative clauses and sentence order, basically everything is an adjective. You have a couple of nouns, you can attach them to popoy bam. It's you're making that entire clause or sentence basically a little adjective to whatever comes next. So for example, gakusei janai hito. You're making it so that the person that's not a student is like a characteristic of person. Not student becomes a characteristic of a person, right? You can also do that with verbs. So itsumo benkyo suru hito. People, so person that always studies. Itsumo benkyo suru, always studies. Yeah, it's kind of like an adjective in a way. For hito. Also sentence order doesn't matter. As long as the verb is the last thing in your sentence, you can do whatever you want. Because that's what particles are for, right? You know what the topic is, you know what the context is, and you know what the target of the verb is, because there are particles, so you don't need to put it in any specific order. It's not just strictly, oh, it's the reverse of English. It's just like Japanese has to end with a verb. And also the implied state of being, like just that or this, or works as that verb as well. So for you can just say kakuse, and that's a valid sentence because it has a state of being, and that's it. Then we saw some non-related particles. To is basically and. You are being inclusive. You're adding more stuff to whatever you're trying to say. So yeah, and toka is for vague listing. It's basically for an or like, I like to think of it as kind of like things like, so for example, nomimono ya kapu ya nap ya iranai. So don't you need stuff like drinks, cups, knives, things like those. So you're kind of vague listing. Not all could apply. There could be more that they need, right? So it's big. Yeah is the polite way to say it. Toka is more informal, right? So I often hear a lot of toka, but that's because I watch anime VTubers and stuff. According to someone that knows a little bit better or more, or I assume as much, that Juan is like, yeah, it's probably more better to just to be polite and not be rude, right? No particle, it can imply, it can basically be an off in terms of possession or where it comes from in terms of location, right? So American daigaku no kakuse. So it's like student of College of America, or like Bob no Hon, so Book of Bob, Bob in case Bob's book. But then it can also be used as a noun in terms of like, okay, we went into this in depth yesterday, but basically when you use it as a pseudo noun, you're making, or you're talking about everything that goes before the no. So shiroi no, thing that is white, or yuyu ni go no, so like the thing about going to class. Or mainichi benkyou suru no, right? The thing about studying every day. Daihen. Dahen janai kedo. Right, mainichi benkyou suru wa daihen. No wa. Right. Also, even if you're using no to replace a noun, or even if there's no really noun intended, if you're trying to use an adjective, you still have to use na. Shizukana no. Right. Yeah, and then no, basically as an explanation. So if you ask it in a question, you just put no. So like, ima wa isogashii no, because you are trying to seek an explanation of, like, is it that you're busy right now? Is that why you cannot help me or anything, right? Or that you cannot be here? Or you can add it at the end of your sentence to be like explanatory, right? Ima wa isogashii no. No, I cannot do it because I'm busy, right? You're not just saying, oh, I'm busy. No, you're trying to explain to the person that you're busy. However, mostly for guys, you're not going to use isogashi no, because it sounds kind of feminine. So it's usually going to be no da. When that happens, it's a bit of a mouthful, so it's usually going to end up as nda. So isogashinda, right? So kakuse nanda, right? So namunda. Also, when you're trying to explain with a noun, just in case to differentiate from the no as a pseudo noun or a possession, you have to put nano. So kakuse nanoda. So kakuse nanda. Jim noda, Jim nanoda, right? It's an important difference to make. And then you can also conjugate the nda, so unjanai, undata, unjanakata. And that changes a bit what I like to think of as the expectation of the sentence. So unjanakata is like the expectation was for that not to happen in a way, right? That's how I like to think of it. It's really weird I don't think I can do a very good of explaining it, and I certainly didn't do that yesterday. But it's there. Adverbs, so you can make adjectives into adverbs. If it's an E adjective, you throw away the E, turns it into ku. So hayai, hayaku. So early, you're doing something fast, right? Or early. And if it's an adjective, you just add ni. So kire, kire, ni. Also, earlier we saw like honto, well, honto ni, right? Or really. There are some adverbs that are just adverbs that you can just put beforehand, like zenzen or taksan, that you just don't need anything. You just put them. Sentences and the particles. Ne. So you're just looking for a confirmation, or right, basically at the end. Itenki da ne. Right. So like, it's good weather, right? Tanoshii ne. Right. Fun, right? So you're seeking usually agreement, like, hey, it's right. It's right, like a good, right? In this case, so it's more like, yeah, sure is. Basically, yo is say according to Taiki, is informing the listener something new. So you're saying something new, but I hear it way more often than just that. I mean, it may be me, but I feel like it has more of a trying to soften the tone of the whole thing. But then again, what the fuck do I know, right? I'm no expert, so we'll take him for his word. Informing the listener of something new. Hey, there's no time, you know? Stuff like that. And then you can combine both to get yone. The order has to be yone. You cannot say neyo because it's wrong. And that's all that we saw yesterday. Yay. So a quick little review. Let me drink a little bit. And we'll start right off with essential grammar. Let me close the flashcards. Hello, Pro again. I already did a BCC speedrun the other day. Last week, actually. And I tried convincing Rich many times. He has refused every single time. Sorry. I'd love to do a fun race of BCC with Rich, but he will not. What can I say? Anyway, let's move on to... I just ranked it. Nowadays, I just kind of wanted to play BCC for fun and relax. If I'm manipping, I need to be paying attention to the frames, the audio cues, make sure the folder is exactly how I want it to be, and also need to pay attention to the percentages to slot in. And that's not fun. I wanted to relax, so I did a 3-hour, 40-minute run that was pretty bad because I got pretty unlucky, but it was fun. People showed up, I was able to relax, and that's exactly what I wanted. It is. Okay, essential grammar. So everything we've seen up till now is basic as grammar. As I described last time, we know as much now as a 5-year-old. Yay. Now let's actually learn proper grammar. Essential grammar. So, polite form and verb stems. So we're finally going to be using keigo with this and mas. Again, I don't know how much I need to explain about Japanese in terms of being polite and the hierarchy and all of that. But basically, you're probably gonna speak or use keigo for like formal language whenever you're talking to someone. Most of the time, unless you make a really good friend and get really acquainted, you probably wanna be using keigo. If not, you're gonna come out as rude. You'll probably get a bit of a pass because you're a foreigner and like, yeah, he doesn't know better. But that's not the idea. It's still not great. There's even more formal language that you probably hear store clerks or something, or like maybe in games and stuff like that for like royalty maybe. And it's super super polite. That may be interesting to learn, and I think it will eventually show up in the book, but it's not as important. Also, up until now, the book has been using and to say yes and no, but usually the ones we know and that show up as options in the runs a lot are hi and yeah, for yes and no. So nothing new. So yeah, we are probably going to want to use polite language, people of higher social rank, people you're not familiar with. Yeah. So before that, we're gonna need to learn the stem of verbs. And that is actually one of the most fascinating things I've ever learned in the Japanese language. So in order to be able to conjugate verbs and verbs, we need to know their stem, right? Yeah. In Spanish, I'm pretty sure it's like raíz or root. But yeah, the stem. So basically, how do you get the stem and why it's important? So for ru verbs, you just take out the ru, and you just taberu, you just have tabe. And for u verbs, you change the final u sounding. I forget the syllable. What was it? The mora, I believe. Basically, you change it from the u version to the e version. So oyogu, oyogi, hanasu, hanashi, right? Stuff like that. There are two exceptions though. Suru of to do becomes shi, and kuru of to come becomes ki. That's why whenever you hear and you see the kuru in terms of verb, you're almost likely going to be reading it as ki instead of ku. Right. I'm not sure if you can properly say it, but there it is. Yes. So, the stem, when used by itself, can be as a very specialized and limited way of creating nouns from verbs. So, the stem actually turns verbs into nouns. That blew my mind, and it actually makes a lot of sense. There are a number of specific nouns, such as yasumi, that are really stem verbs that are used like regular nouns. For example, so yasomu is why do I keep yasumi? Yasumo, yasumu, yasumu. Whew. Right, yasumu. It's to take a day off, to rest, to take a break. But a lot of the times you'll instead hear like yasumi, because it's a rest. So for like natsu yasumi, right? For like summer break. It's honestly like everywhere. It is quite fascinating. But if you ever see like a verb like the e form by itself, it makes a lot of sense. Right now I cannot come up with like many good examples, but just its stem itself is kind of like a noun basically, and it is really fascinating. Okay. Let's keep going. A useful grammar that works in general for stems of all verbs is using the stem as a target with a motion verb, always iku or kuru. So if you can use the stem and then put the ni and the motion verb in terms of like you're going to do something. For example, ashita egao mi ni iku. So tomorrow about the film, you're going to watch, but you're coming to watch, right? Mi ni iku. So you're in particular going to watch. You can also So you can also use but it sounds very strange because it's like you're going in that direction to do something. But if you're going to do something, right, to play, you should probably use ni. Also, there's the expression tanoshimi ni suru, to look forward to, is formed to grammar similar to this, but it should be considered as an expression, tanoshimi. It's also something you'll hear quite often, right? Tanoshimi. But yeah. Other verbs are also sometimes attached to the stem to create new verbs. So, das and hashiru, hashidas, to break into a run. Because das is to exit and run is to, hajiru is to run. Hashidas. No, hajiridas, right? There are other examples. For example, earlier I was trying to use tsure das. Right, so this is tsureru and then das to exit. So tsureru, it's a ru verb. You take out the ru, make it a stem, and bam, you can combine it with das, and you have a new verb. There are no general rules here. You need to just memorize these combined verbs as separate verbs in their own right. So eventually you'll pick them up because they're common. Okay, now that we know the stem, we can use mas to actually make them sound polite. To conjugate verbs into their polite form, the mas form must always come at the end of a complete sentence and never inside a modifying relative clause. So if you're using a relative clause with verbs to modify other nouns in a sentence, you cannot use the polite form there, must, just at the very end of your sentence. So to conjugate verbs into must form, you attach different conjugations of must to the stem depending on the tense. It's quite simple. So now that you have the stem, you basically add these conjugations of must depending on the time. So simply this. Asobi, asobimasu. In negative, asobi, asobimasen. Past, asobi, asobimashita. And then negative past, asobimasen deshita. Right? That's your polite form with mas. I'm guessing it works the same for ru verbs as well. So tabe, tabemasu, tabe, tabemasen. Tabemashita, tabemasen deshita. Same thing, it's just the stem and the conjugations of mas. Ain't that neat? Ain't that simple? And then you can speak formally. Easy. Hold up. Yeah, let's see some quick examples real quick. Ashita daigaku ni ikimasu. Senshu boku ni aimashita yo. Bangohan o tabemasen deshita ne. Omoshiroku nai eiga wa mimasen. Alright, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And then you can use des for everything else that isn't a verb. For any sentence that does not end in a ru verb, the only thing that needs to be done is to add des or deshita. You can also do this for substituted nouns, both non. If there is a declarative da, it must be removed. Yep. Also, this must be at the end of a complete sentence, not in between or in any relative clause. So, for example, kawai, kawai desu, kawai kunai desu, kawai katta desu, kawai kunakatta desu. That's for adjectives. And for non-adjectives is shizuka desu, shizuka janai desu, shizuka deshita, and shizuka janakatta desu. So deshita, you use it for non-adjectives and nouns in the past. At every other point you use this. Nowadays, in the case of noun and adjectives only, the past tense becomes deshita. A very common mistake is to do the same for adjectives. Kawaii deshita is wrong. Kawaii katta desu. Remember that. Cool. Some examples. こういうのはとっても好きです。昨日時間がなかったんです。その部屋はあんまり静かじゃないです。先週に見た映画はとっても面白かったです。Right. Reality check. There's an important thing to notice. There's supposed to be an official conjugation that sounds very stiff, but it is used sometimes for like very formal stuff in terms of written works. Okay, so you can conjugate in this other way, which is super formal. So let's look at it. So there's kawaiku arimasen for kawaiku nai, because you're basically saying that nai is aru or ari, I remember, and then you're trying to, because that's a verb, you're trying to conjugate that instead. But this sounds rather stiff, way too formal, so it should only be for like a paper for university or something, right? Much formal stuff. So what kawaiku arimasen deshita. Shizuka ja arimasen deshita. For the negative. Again, it's important to notice that it exists, even though we may not use it much. And if the time ever comes where you need to write something like that in Japanese instead of English for some reason, well, now you know. So let's see an example of a substitution. その部屋はあんまり静かじゃないですよ。その部屋はあんまり静かじゃありませんです。ありませんよ。じゃありませんよ。はい。So, again, not very common, but it exists. Also, a quick thing, do not think that and this are the same. Do not try to just, I use that, I'll replace it for this. It's a completely different thing. Do not think of it like that at all. Here's an entire explanation as to why that's not the case. But basically, they're totally separate things. Do not think this is applied that. It's not how it works. That is just to make some things declarative. This is just to make things formal in a way. Just do not try to replace them. Addressing people, how you talk to others, how you say you, me, how you refer to people. So I is separated into two categories. Okay, this is also kind of fascinating. Oops. Hold on. I kind of need to fix that. There you go. ごめんね。はい。続きましょう。 Okay, addressing people. Yeah, you can say I in multiple ways, and it's separated into depending on gender and politeness. Um, Also, the official reading for this kanji, watashi, it's watashi. But most of the time it's usually read as watashi. So here's the most common words for I and how they're used. So for this kanji you have watashi, which is for like very formal situations, for like speeches or like stuff like that. Domo, koko wa san, irashai. Welcome, people. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Hello. Yo. Yeah, so watashi, very formal situations, maybe a speech or something. The usual watashi is the most standard, male and female, polite, basic that they always teach you. It's completely okay. Then boku, mostly used by males. I've seen females use it as well. And it's still relatively a bit more casual, honestly. But it's not very too casual, like too comfortable. I don't think. Then ore, it's very rough for males, very casual, rude even. Then atashi, unless you're a girl, you're not gonna be using it. It's very very feminine. I've seen some like VTubers and stuff using it, atashi, but it's like you're probably not gonna use it, but good to know it exists. It's very cutesy, very feminine, very girly. So referring to oneself using one's own name is something you probably see kids use. It's quite childish or very girly. So again, probably not gonna use that anytime soon. Washi is what I one day would like to use. Used by older men, like old men, ages and stuff. So yeah, cool stuff. So here are some examples that basically say how formal each thing is in a way, right? So most of the times, I personally will be using like watashi or boku. Cool. Then second person, how to refers to other. So the Japanese do not use you nearly as much. The people usually refer to other people by their names, even when they're directly addressing that person. Another way to address their people is by their title. So like shacho, kacho, and sensei. Right. So sensei also, just in case, not really only used for a teacher or anything. Usually for someone that has like an expertise in something else, like for that something like doctors. Also illustrators, actually. It's an important illustrator. They've done jobs for like manga or anime, or like they're simply well known or something. There's gonna be called sensei, actually. Gambare, arigato gozaimasu, irashai. It-chan, kana. Welcome, thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Gambarimasu. So, yeah, cool. So let's keep moving. What was it? Yeah. So yeah, that about sensei. So don't think it's only like teacher. It's used in many ways. Woo. Cool. I get to ban someone. Nice. Gone. So yeah, important. You can also include the person's last name for the title, like Tanaka Sensei, right? When there's no title, you can just use their name, usually their last name. Again, if you don't know very much Japanese culture, they usually go last name, first name, and usually you're gonna refer to others with their last name instead. It's important to notice that. And actually, changing from their last name to their first name apparently, from what I can tell, it's a big deal, and it shows like you're comfortable, you know that person. And if you go around using the first person, you're probably gonna get the pass again because you're a foreigner and you're learning, but you should probably not do it. And then you add the typical san to show politeness. Man, I kind of want to say it in Japanese, but yeah. Yeah. If calling them by their last name seems a bit too polite and distant, yeah. The practice of attaching san to their first name also exists. Then you can also use kun or chan, but that's way more endearing when you know the person more. Yeah. I'm probably not gonna be using that anytime soon, but they are there, in fact. Okay, so referring to others as you. There are 3 levels of politeness when referring to others. First, you just use the person's name with a suffix, right? Tanaka-san. Then you can not use anything at all because the context is given it, and then is anata. But at that point, as Tagin says, you're dangerous in the area of being rude. Most of the time, you don't really necessarily need to use it. If you try to keep using anata to refer to you, much like you would use in English, they're gonna basically feel like you're pointing the finger at them. Anata. That's not good. Do not do that. Also, it's another way an old-fashioned way for women to refer to their husband. Interesting to know this. I don't think anyone here will be using that. So, but hey, it exists. Important to understand it exists. So here's a list of some words meaning you in English that you really need to use. Anata. So when there's no physical way to address the person in a way, and you're, for example, on a form or something that you need to fill out, or you write to send it to someone or something, right? Or then in that case, anata will be used to ask direct questions to the reader. Gimme. Very close and assuming way to address girls, especially by guys. Oh, but not so much. It's just a way to say you, but you're kind of close or being rude. Like, wait, gimme. Like, what? Hey, you. What? Wait. In a way that, or at least that's what I've seen. Oh my. Yeah. Do not use this, dude. Do not use this. Do not use it. Do not. Okay, this. Okay, so from now on, these are gonna be like very rude, but they come up in like anime and stuff. Anime toka, manga toka, anime ya, manga ya, stuff like that. You probably see it. Anta, very assuming and familiar, or like the person is muffled out of something, right? Like that you fucked up or something is wrong. Probably not gonna see it very often. You're probably not gonna use it very often. So damn it. The good old either kind of like a yakuza or what was it? Freaking needleman in NT. Damn it! It's like very rude. Like you almost want to fight. You're not gonna use this. But it does show up in like comics and manga and stuff, anime and stuff like that. And then kisama, like you basically want the person to die. It's super rude. It's awful to use. But in stuff like anime and manga where they are actually like fighting for the dead and stuff like that, it will come up. But again, do not use it. Omae teme to kisama tsukaenai kudasai. It's just don't use it at all. And then third person. You're basically there's kare and kanojo for him or he and her. They can also mean boyfriend or girlfriend, but context it's in Japanese fun context. Right. But yeah, it depends on the context, and also girlfriend or boyfriend. They can kind of be used. No, I have not heard them very much myself, but yeah, interesting to know. So here's referring to family members. So you refer to members of others' family more politely than your own. This is only when you're talking about members of your own family to others outside the family. Referring to family members, it's kind of weird. I'm still not very sure. For example, you refer to your own mother as haha to people outside your family, but you may very well call her okasan at home with your own family, right? So on the left, it's like it's way more polite when you're talking about your family to others. That's probably what you're gonna use, and where you're just calling them, or like family and friendly, it's you just use the one on the right. They have different readings as well. So parents, actually I'm pretty sure I have the vocabulary here. Yes, I do. Cool. So you have Yoshin for parents and Goryoshin. Actually, yeah, so quick thing, I didn't go or o at the beginning, makes things a bit more polite, sound better. Yeah, and also so there's, I think, son at the end. So yeah, that's why, again, you're referring to others way more politely than your own, but at home you can use that. Justin, welcome. Yeah, we're in fact learning some Japanese. Third day in a row. Cool. Every day. 毎日勉強します。これは3日目。はい。Anyway, so yeah, let's see the readings real quick. 母、お母さん、父、お父さん、妻 or wife, and Oksan, right? Then we have this one. I don't think I'll ever use because, but yeah, it's here. Otto to Goshujin. Goshujin. Actually, about this, if you ever see some maid or servant or something like that, like anime or something, they'll probably refer to their master as Goshujin sama. Right? They use the sama for extra politeness because they're like servant. So yeah, important to know this. Older sister, Ane, wait. Why is it so far down? Yeah, Ane, and then Onesan, then Ani, Onisan, Imoto, this is Imoto-san, right? Imoto-san, Ototo, Ototo-san. Son, Musiko, right? Right. And Musiko-san. And the other Musume, Musume-san. One-san. Yeah. There's another word for wife that I don't like it. I don't. Because it basically says inside, a house inside. And fuck off. Cool. That's how you address your family members. Again, you used all of these in the left for your own family when talking to people outside your family. So I'd say, 私の母は元気です. Like, my mom is okay. Right? For example, because I'm talking to Chad. But if I were to call her on the phone, I was to be like, hey, お母さん, right? Not like she'd understand me at all, because she's Spanish. Yeah, so, スペイン人だから、母さん、何も日本語わからない. Yeah, that came out weird, but I didn't know what to say. Anyway, question marker. Yay, got. Cool. Questions in polite form. The question mark is covered here because it's primarily used to clearly indicate a question in polite sentences. While it isn't totally possible to express a question even in polite form using just intonation, right? The usual for a question. Even in polite form using just intonation, the question mark is often attached to the very end of the sentence to indicate a question. The question mark is simply use the hiragana ka, and you don't need to add a question mark, unlike in other languages. For previously explained reasons, you must not use the clarity da with a question mark. Again. 田中さん、お母さんはどこですか？母は買い物に行きました。鈴木さん、はい。So, どこですか？ Where is she? Then 買い物は買い物 it's to buy, and mono is thing. So the thing about shopping, which is like just shopping, honestly. 買い物 shopping. Good to know. 買い物に行きました。She went to shop. An example, イタリア料理を食べに行きませんか? So actually, let me use proper intonation. イタリア料理を食べに行きませんか? Alright, there we go. すみません、ちょっとお腹がいっぱいです。I'm sorry, like I'm already full. Here the question is actually being used as an invitation, just like in English we say, hey, when you come out for a drink, hey, why don't we go, right? You're using kind of the negative, ni ikimasen ka, right? Why don't go for a drink, or in this case, to eat Italian food. So sumimasen is a polite way of apologizing. Slightly less formal is gomen nasai, and the very casual is just gomen. And if you want to be super slang or anything, you can even say mengo mengo for some nonsense. VTubers, dude. Mengo mengo. VTuber kita. VTuber kara kita. So casual speak, however, if you were to use the question marker, it kind of changes completely. So the question marker does not work the same way in casual speech. It is often used to consider whether something is true or not. Depending on the context or intonation, it can be used to make rhetorical questions or express sarcasm. Okay, this is my marker. Sarcasm. Let's go. So here is basically give you some examples that I don't know how to read because I'm not sure how the proper intonation is, but here, right? こんなのを本当に食べるか? こんなのはあるかよ? Right? So instead of the real question in casual speech are usually asked with the explanatory no. This is just like a misunderstanding because you're trying to use ka when you shouldn't. With the explanatory no or nothing at all except a rise in intonation. So, こんなのを本当に食べる? そんなのはあるの? Right? Here is like, for example, here, そんなのはあるかよ? Right? This guy is like, do I look like I have something like that? That's where the sarcasm comes into, in terms of the question. あるかよ? Like, あるか, like, would it be here? Nah, right? In a way, sarcasm. Cool. And then you can use it in relative clauses to indicate basically whether, right? So whether it be good or not, or whether it be bad or not. So another use for the question mark is simply grammatical and has nothing to do with politeness. Question mark attached at the end of a relative clause makes a mini question inside the larger sentence to talk about the question. So let's look some examples real quick. 昨日何を食べたか忘れた. What I ate yesterday, I forgot. Right. 昨日何を食べたか. Right. So, what I ate yesterday, 忘れた. I forgot. No. 彼は何を言ったか wakaranai. What he said, whatever he said, whatever he said, I did not understand it at all. 彼よ、何を言ったかわからない。Then 先生が学校に行ったか教えない。So when you inform me, this is a whack example, but it gets much better here when. So this is like example 3, where the question is being considered has a yes or no answer. It is common, but not necessarily to attach doka instead, which is the rough equivalent of whether or not. So, 先生が学校に行ったかどうか知らない. So I don't know whether the teacher went to school or not. Which, as you can see here, it's replacing the 先生が学校に行ったか行かなかったか知らない. So you can say the thing, like, you can ask both questions that did he not? I don't know. And then for more questions, there are question words. Whoa, we're reaching the end. We're almost to the part where I don't know anything about. Let's go. We're using question words. Yay. Well, we're on the topic of questions. This is a good time to go over question words. Where, who, what, all those. And what they mean in various contexts. Take a look at what adding the question marker does to the meaning of words. So, you have dare, which is usually who. Dareka becomes someone. Nani, what. Narika, something. Itsu, when. Itsuka, sometime. Doko, where. Dokoka, somewhere. Dore, which is more, I'm pretty sure it's which. Doreka, which is a certain one from many. This one, have a hard time getting myself. Doreka. Yeah. So, some examples, you can treat these words just like any regular noun, right? So, dareka ga oishii cookie o senbu tabeta. So, someone ate all the good cookies, right? Damn, how dare he? He or she, I guess. Darega, okay, I'm gonna need to listen. Is this? ちょっと待ってね。見つけた。Nice. Okay. 盗む。でしょ。はい。盗む。そしてよ。盗む。誰が盗んだのか、誰が誰が盗んだのか、誰か知りませんか? So doesn't anybody know who stole it? So, 誰が盗んだのか? So who stole it? 誰か someone know? Not know. So doesn't anyone know who stole it? Does it make sense? It makes sense to me. So 誰が盗んだの? 誰が盗んだのか? So this is 誰が so who stole it, right? And does anyone 誰か right? Anyone doesn't know, so doesn't anybody know who stole it, right? Does it make sense? It makes sense to me. これは犯人でしょ。犯人をどこかで見ましたか? So 犯人をどこかで見ましたか? So the criminal to see, right, by way of somewhere, right? So did you see the criminal somewhere? Again, particles. Are particles fun? So you can always say どこか犯人を見ましたか? Right? You can. It's enjoyable. Well, Abby, hello. How's it going, Abby? Welcome. We're just chilling and studying a little bit. Let's keep going. この中からどれかを選ぶの. So, この中から so from here, right, basically, from inside this, どれかを選ぶの. So, a certain one from many. どれか, so which one, basically, in a way, right? So it's basically which one, in a way, right? So if you were to ask どれか, right? Which one? And again, in a way, right? So here it's like a certain one from many. It's hard for me to explain because I can barely get it myself, but somehow I get it. なんとなく意味わかるけど説明できない。全く。Okay. ちょっと待ってね。Okay. Let's continue. 続きましょう。Question words with inclusive meaning. Now we're using the particle mo to modify the question words. So, 誰も and 何も are primarily used for negative sentences. Curiously, there's no way to say everything with question words. Instead, it is conventional to use words like 全部 and although 誰も can sometimes be used to mean everybody, it is customarily to use みんな or 皆さん. The remaining three words, いつも meaning always, どれも meaning any and all, and どこも meaning everywhere, can be used both negative and positive. So, 誰も everybody or nobody, 何も nothing, いつも always, どこも everywhere, どれも so it's some examples is probably the best way to go about it. I'm pretty sure this is Hitsumon. Shitsumon. この質問の答えは誰も知らない。誰も知らない actually. This is not a question. You could ask it as a question as in, doesn't anyone know the answer to this? But it's, in this case, it's just a statement. この質問の答えは誰も知らない。誰も知らない。誰も知らない。Let me just double check that this is 答え. I'm pretty sure it's 答え. 答え. Yeah, it is. Cool. 誰も知らない. Yeah, so no one knows. No one knows. 誰も知らない。友達はいつも遅れる。My friend, it's always late. いつも always. ここにあるレストランはどれも美味しくない。So the restaurants that are here are all any and all. It's quite a mouthful, honestly. Any and all restaurants here are not tasty. Any and all どれもはい。ここにあるレストランはどれも美味しくない。Any and all restaurants are here are not tasty. Like, no matter which one you choose, it's going to be bad. 今週末はどこにも行かなかった。This weekend I went nowhere. どこにも行かなかった。Yeah, so どこもmeans everywhere, basically nowhere. In this case, grammatically, this mo is the same as the topic particle. So target particle ni must go before the topic particle. So because you're using ni to go nowhere in this case, it must go before mo, because this mo is technically the inclusive particle. どこにも. Right. So important to know the order. And questions to mean any. Demo. Okay, so the questions combined with demo can be used to mean any. One thing to be careful is that non-demo is read as non-demo and not as nani-demo. Right. これは non-demo. Nani-demo じゃない。じゃなくて。はい。So, 誰でも anybody, 何でも anything, いつでも anytime, どこでも anywhere, どれでも whichever. Yeah, so let's look at the examples real quick. ここ質問の答えは誰でもわかる。So 誰でも anyone, anybody knows or understands, right? 昼ご飯はどこでもいいです。No. How about lunch? Anywhere is fine. どこでも it's fine. Anywhere. あの人は本当に何でも食べる。So, that person really, yeah, anything eats, right? He eats anything, really anything. 何でも。Also, to say that it was nothing, or because you messed up and you were like, hey, you wanted to say something and like you stop, say, hey, what was it? And you say, yes, 何でもない. It was nothing. Anything, but then negative, 何でもない. Pretty. There's no way I have not heard that. 何でもない. Not good sort, nothing. None of the sort, nothing at all. And then we finally arrive at compound sentences. So here, up to here, all of that I had already studied on my own earlier this year. What comes from here, I actually have no idea. I know nothing. ここから何にも知らない。All of this is completely new stuff for me. So, yeah, I'm going to be taking notes. It's going to be a bit slower from now on. We're going to read everything and try to completely understand it. So let's see. I want to see quickly how short or long this lesson may be. It's somewhat lengthy. It is somewhat lengthy. Damn. Okay. Okay, I think I have to call it a day, unfortunately. And I forgot how to say it in Japanese. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to call it a day, unfortunately, simply because tomorrow I got a good old test. 明日は試験があるから、僕が I need to study. 配信を終わります。Now Twitch is not working, so I could look to host someone. But yeah, I'm gonna have to call it a day here, unfortunately. Thanks everyone for watching, for hanging out. I appreciate it. Tomorrow we'll see more flashcards, more kanji, and we'll try to learn new things together finally. Slowly but surely. So the pace is gonna slow down. Is Twitch dead? Is Twitch dead? What the? I can't seem to get Twitch working. Twitch 壊れたか? What? What? It's not working. What is happening? Is Twitch broken? I wanted to try to host someone. Well, I guess I'll just say goodbye then. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys tomorrow again every morning at around 8 a.m. Eastern. Have a good one. Bye-bye.見てくれてありがとうございます。ここまでです。足終わります。明日も頑張ります。ありがとうね。また明日。